Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8, and I'm going to do a terrible rendition of the song Soldier Side, which is a System of a Down song. I actually managed to see System of a Down in concert one time back in 2004. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was around the time this album was coming out that this song came from. Actually, Mesmerized and Hypnotized, both albums were considered a pair. They were meant to go together. So, it's pretty neat. But I can't sing. My voice is epilepsy for your ears. I also have a pretty bad migraine. That being said, I did record a video yesterday. No one got to see it. Not anybody really watches stuff anyway. But um, I used a picture of Lena and Burst when she went Super Saiyan in season 2 of the Slayers anime from the 90s. This scene is one of the mazoku. It's from later in that same episode from the anime, so I figured I'd use it as a thumbnail. But yeah, the previous video, it's technically uploaded on YouTube. I have it listed as private. I don't like editing on YouTube, but I'll probably show the first couple hours of it. But after that, I eventually just went on too much of a tirade and became too emotional and shit. So while I do try to not have a filter on YouTube, there are limits to what I feel comfortable with sharing. And I guess I just got a little bit too caught up in just my own feelings and shit. So, that being said, I try to use the YouTube editor thing that after you upload it, try to cut some parts out, mainly the end, try to trim it. But that's not really working, so I'm going to try a little bit more on that. Because technically, I let it process, and then I use the YouTube editor to cut, to edit, to try to trim, or I went on too much of a fucking tirade. At least it wasn't nearly as bad as that one video where apparently it was on a day I had a day off where I had more time to really go completely balls to the wall. Because there was that one video where I recorded for 13 hours straight, actually over 13 hours. And apparently, I can't do a 13 plus to 14-hour video without me becoming too emotional. Because in that video, around, I think it was the 7-hour mark, I just went into a full-on cry / screaming and laughing. And if that wasn't bad enough, I literally cried to the point that I started vomiting, like explosive vomit. And then was sort of laying around for about 20 minutes or so, unable to move. I don't know if that counts as a heart attack, but that was back in early February. There's a couple tiny excerpts of that you can hear. I think I named that video Terrible Karaoke Guess the Anime Character Number 7. But yeah, that stuff, no. And then of course, like I said, just went a bit too far with being myself in the video. And that one too, but at least I didn't go that far. But then again, it wasn't. It's not like I wanted to be doing a 13 to 14-hour video yesterday. I didn't have time, work and shit. Speaking of which, it's exhausting lately. It's always exhausting, but I don't know. Between the migraine and wanting to just pass out, I've been the whole time at work. I want to pass the fuck out, but anyway. Originally, I was wanting to just hold off and do any more System Down and do the whole Mesmerize and Hypnotize albums together and name the video Mazoku. Mazoku, how you want to pronounce it. The only times I've really heard those words used in anime is the Slayers anime and Yu Hakusho. But yeah, main point is I went like I said, in general, I like being able to make these videos because I can like drop my filter and just be myself. But I went a bit far. But then again, I guess that's the downside. Like, I can't allow myself to just freeform talk for like hours and hours and hours and hours, or else I just start opening up too much. It's like that's a kind of a downside of me as a person. I have a tendency to be too open, too honest, and too vulnerable about, well, who I am on the inside and my feelings and shit. Also, downside of bottling up your emotions all the time, when you do start to let it out, you're a fucking volcano of fucking feelings. But, like I said, part of it is just I just like being able to be open with just be myself. Also, maybe there are other people out there who feel the same way I do. So maybe other people can identify with me and you guys feel the same. But even then, there's a limit to how much I feel comfortable of opening up. And like I've had multiple videos where I have actually outright literally broke down and cried hardcore with that shit, and no, that's not getting uploaded. Because no. But main point is this. I assume other people can identify with, those feelings. I assume there are other people out there who tend to live a very stoic lifestyle and tend to bottle up their feelings and emotions and tend not to talk much. Hell, I think I've talked more on this YouTube channel than the entire rest of my life combined. So, yeah, I'm gonna do a terrible job trying to sing Soldier Side as I try to ignore this horrible migraine. System Down, great band. Also, I think Rammstein's coming out with a new album. Is that today? I don't know. It's April 27th right now. My head hurts so fucking bad. Maybe I should take a Tylenol or something. Fuck. Dead men lying on the bottom of the grave, wondering when Savior comes, is he gonna be saved? Maybe you're a sinner into your alternate life. Maybe you're a joker, maybe you deserve to die. They were crying when the sun's left, under the malaria black. He's come so far to find no hope, he's never coming back. They were crying when the sun's left, all your men must go. They've come so far to find the truth, he's never going home. Young men standing on the top of their own graves, wondering when Jesus comes, are they gonna be saved? Moving to the winner, bishop tells the king his lies. Maybe you're a mourner, maybe you deserve to die. They were crying when the sun's left, God is wearing black. He's come so far to find no hope, he's never coming back. They were crying when the sun's left, God is and must go. He's come so far to find no truth, he's never going home. But, yeah, I was also considering singing Kill Rock and Roll. Hell, a funny thing is this. I think when I very first started playing the Perfect Apocalypse trilogy, I started the second game, and there was a scene where there were zombies going up a staircase, and I remarked on how they look like dicks. So I started trying to do an improv version of saying, "Gone." to the soldier side. There is no one here but me. People all grow up to die. There is no one here but me. Feel calm, so strong. There's no one here but me. People on the soldier side. There's no one here but me. Oh man, it's just fuck. But yeah. But yeah, I just sort of like did it like improv Cigaro on the spot by memory. So yeah, it's as cringy as you guys think it is, but yeah, I'll try to work more with that lean inverse video. I named that video. I could be the hero, I could be the villain. It doesn't really matter. But like I said, just as it went on, I eventually became too emotional, and just that's like I said. I mean, there's limits to what I feel comfortable about opening up about. Honestly, I really, in general, don't feel comfortable opening up about my feelings at all. I mean, for the most part, I tend to be a very stoic individual. I tend to not express emotions or feelings out there in the real world in front of other people. And in general, to most people, I don't really open up at all or talk about my feelings. Heck, there's only a handful of times that anyone's seen me cry, period, and it was usually, something like a severe physical injury or, you know, a family member dies. So aside from severe physical injuries or the death of, someone close to me, no one's, seen me cry. I mean, aside from that, there was also like a time about like a decade plus ago or so, and eventually I did talk to some of my friends about certain things. I said stuff happened that sort of just was just like the final straw on the camel's back, and I decided to open up about my feelings. I'm sure I annoyed the hell out of them by talking to them about them. I talked to them a lot, sometimes for hours on end, just because it's just I took some stuff that happened way back then, really, really fucking hard. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's better to talk about your feelings than, I mean, there's other people that find much worse ways to, you know, react to bad things. And in general, like I said, I tend to bottle up my feelings, not talk to anyone. I don't feel comfortable talking about my feelings or expressing my feelings. Heck, in general, I really don't even feel comfortable talking to anyone, let alone even people that are family or friends. I, I mean, I don't really feel comfortable showing that I even have emotions, just because in general I feel embarrassed, ashamed, scared, as well as I also feel that people wouldn't care or just feel annoyed or angry at me for even talking to them about how I feel. Even if there are people that, you know, would call themselves my friends or family. So, some people use the anonymity of the internet to just be assholes and treat people like shit and just start fucking flame wars. And then there's people like me that use it to talk about things that make me sad, or just express that I do have feelings and do feel, emotional hurt over things that, I don't feel safe or okay to express those things in the real world. But even then, while I'm able to express feelings and emotions here on YouTube that, like I said, I don't think I'd feel comfortable ever really expressing in the real world, there's still limits. There's things that are too personal, too hurtful, things that even in an anonymous setting, I don't think I would feel okay talking about, which I think that's understandable for everyone, that everyone else feels the same about. But there are some things that you don't feel comfortable talking about or expressing. And like I said, in general, I don't like editing, and I don't like. I prefer to be. I like being able to be open and honest about. I mean, heck, I think Sonic the Hedgehog 2 put it that way pretty clearly. Part of people being friends with one another or getting to know one another is being open and honest and vulnerable with one another. But there's a limit to how much I feel comfortable sharing about how my feelings about shit. And honestly, there are some things that are just. I am considering just deleting this video. And deleting the video with Lena Inverse as a thumbnail. But the main point I'm trying to say with this is, one, some of the feelings and thoughts I have, I assume that there's other people out there that identify with how I feel, and that maybe it would help them in some way to know that other people, you know, or at the very least, I don't know where I'm going with this. Like I said, this isn't even cringy anymore. It's just me. But even then, there's a limit to how much I feel comfortable with, and it's just sharing certain things just feels too painful for me. I hope everyone out there had a wonderful day. Bye.